It has been a while since I've recorded an episode. Thank you for being patient. I don't know how long it's been, but I would say it's probably been at least a month. That's my guess. If I were to put in a guess, I think it's been a month since I've recorded an episode of Tea Time with Jen, in which I never drink tea, but I just like calling it Tea Time with Jen, even though I forget to say that. Blah, 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 blah. My room's pretty messy. You could see like a bunch of stuff. Stuff. It's clean. It's just folding is not my favorite activity in the world. It's fine. It's fine. We're not going to worry about that. But I just feel the need to point it out because you can see it and I can see it. And yeah. In this last month that I've not put out an episode, I would say that I have become super spiritual, which I don't have any regrets about in any way. But I would say that it is curious to me because, I do think that I am spiritual, but it's like reached a new level of spiritual. Like, okay, I'm trying to explain it. I'll put it this way. I grew up really religious. Like, my parents paid for a private Christian school, and I don't know how expensive it was. I'm not going to Google it. And I went there, and I think it was good because I think that, I learned manners and that sort of thing, but I guess I'm not really a huge on, how would you call it? How God is anthropomorphized. I'm not a fan of that. He, him. I'm not a fan of that. Even if you want to be gender neutral and be like it or whatever, or you want to call it a girl, I'm still not a fan of that because I think that I don't know. I have like multiple issues with anthropomorphizing God, but let's fast forward. I studied philosophy in college. I got my degree from the University of California, Los Angeles in philosophy. While I was there, the philosophy program at UCLA is super analytic. And when I say super analytic, I mean it's okay. So let's contrast philosophy at UCLA to okay. I don't know philosophy at other schools, so I can't say. But I'll put it this way: the history of philosophy is pretty abstract and existential and metaphysical and that sort of thing. Whereas the philosophy at UCLA, it's super, super analytical. It's like theoretical econ or theoretical CS or, theoretical cognitive science or theoretical, So it's like philosophy that I studied at UCLA was like everything you could imagine, but then meta. Everything you could imagine, but meta. So, like, any program or field of study that was like technical, my philosophy program at UCLA took it and made it meta. Meta, 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 meta. Meta, meta, meta. So it was this sort of thing where, like, okay, so I studied, so, like, one of my favorite professors, Gabriel Greenberg, who I, like, sometimes Google randomly to see what he's doing. he, why did I bring this up? Sorry, one second. Okay, I need to figure this out. I don't remember. Why did I bring this up? Where was my tangent going? I was talking about the philosophy program. I was talking about how it's analytical. I was talking about how it's meta. I was talking about one of my favorite professors. Oh! His class. Got it. Sorry. One of my favorite professors who I sometimes Google to see he's alive and well. And he's alive and well. He's super cool. Super cool. Like, if you ever meet him or ever feel the need to Google him, he does not look or act like a professor. He's just like a chill dude. Like, super, super chill. But he, like, I would say that, like, if I had to name just, like, two people that, like, really affected me in terms of teachers, what's his name? Lowell Benner, my AP European history teacher, and then Gabriel Greenberg, my theory of computation professor. That class was hard. It was really hard. And, but it got me really interested in AI and Watson, and cryptology was something that I was already interested in, but but I don't know where this is going, to be honest. I'm just kind of talking at this point. That's kind of how things go, though. I don't know, I've become really spiritual, and I think something that I like about becoming spiritual is that I found a way to balance different aspects of myself. So, something that I've become pretty interested in recently, which is something that I have not been engaged with or interested in for a while, which, okay, so MBTI, the Meyer Briggs, I don't know what the rest of the acronym stands for, where basically, I love this robe, by the way. I'm a robe person. I'm a robe person. I have three robes, including this one. I have three robes. I like this is like my winter robe, and then I have a spring and summer robe, and then I have a like a transitional robe where I'm like not sure if I want to be in or if I want to go outside. So I'll like have an outfit and then put a robe on top of it. I mean, realistically, you can do that with any robe, but like certain robes are like better for that, and then other robes are like not as good for that. But okay, I go on tangents, then I don't remember how the tangent started. Oh, I've learned how to balance different aspects of my personality. So with my personality, I would be an INTJ or an INTP. I'm in between those. I'm in between those. I don't know if you can change yours throughout your lifetime, but I think mine has changed throughout my lifetime. Yeah, that's what I would say. I think mine has changed throughout my lifetime. Yeah. I think that, well, I'll put it this way. I think right now in this sort of period of my life that those two are my dominants, INTJ, INTP. But I will say that I can be extroverted. I can be extroverted, but that my extroversion typically is not in response to people, but to an idea. Like I'm really excited about something. It can be in response to a person, but if it's in response to a person, like I really like that person. But I think in a general sense, I'm just kind of like, you know, like neutral. That's neutral. Neutral. And it's a bit windy. My dog is sleeping. Her butt's to me. That's my dog. That's my bed covered in things that I'm not worrying about right now. But that's my dog. Wait. Okay. There we go. That's my dog. Wait. How do I do this? I'm trying to point. There you go. That's my dog. You can see it. Okay. That little green thing is a frog humidifier. Whatever. And I have found that in my own life that to become more productive, to become more efficient, and to become more creative, and I guess in a general sense, to be more consistently happy, that it really required a necessity on my part to identify different things that I need because of my own personality. And this whole concept of personality isn't something that I took seriously for a long time of my life. And I think the issue is that with personality, I didn't think it was relevant because I sort of took a kind of a one size fits all sort of situation where if this works for this person, this will work for me. If it works for me, it'll work for this person. And that didn't really work. I guess when I got into college, there were things that I found to be issues for myself or to be solutions for myself that weren't for other people. And I'm in a period where I'm becoming very aware of my own, I guess, quirks, needs, wants, desires in a way that I've never really focused on before. And I think it's great because, I'm learning about myself and I'm learning to understand really, really about myself. Because there's a level in which we think we know ourselves, and it's oftentimes a persona that we think we know. And then there's our actual selves. And I think coming to learn our actual selves is like a really, really hard thing because, we come into the world wherever we're born, whatever part of the world, speaking whatever language we speak, with whatever culture we have. Language, culture, geography really, really affects it. And if you're growing up and being raised in multiple cultures and multiple languages, then it really affects your own personal identity. Okay, so I'm going to mention something. I'm not sure if I already mentioned it in this video. I apologize if I do. But, I had interruptions, so I had to keep re-recording. But I know with myself that a huge part of my upbringing with regards to culture that really affected my own perception of myself and my own perception of my self-created persona was this idea of, I guess, respect and power. And I was raised to believe that I could only have respect, admiration, and power if I had a title. A title being doctor, or lawyer, or professor, or... For me, I included politician, but that's just a personal thing. Okay, I'm getting ink all over my hand. I need to not do that right now. But, let's see, let's continue. But as I've started to recognize that that's more of something that I believe because of culture, I do think it's something that I still need for myself in terms of that was how I was raised, and that's a cultural thing based off of one of the cultures I was raised in. That's really part of that culture in terms of needing a title. And I think for myself, I have that, even if in a minor way of just, oh, okay, I got like a, I got a little degree. I got a little degree. But I would say that for myself, that I don't inherently internalize that perspective, though. I think with myself, it does help. Like, me having a degree in philosophy makes me feel like I've achieved that standard for one of the cultures I was raised in. But because I was raised in multiple cultures, I don't feel that that mentality is something, or that standard is something that I apply to other people. It's definitely something that it has been applied to me, obviously. I went to college. But then again, there were different situations or circumstances that went into that. I think if I had it purely my way, I wouldn't have gone and studied at university. But, I mean, as the situation was, I was a kid at the time, I was 16. My parents weren't going to just let me not go to college, so I went to college, and I would say that everything I learned, I could have learned without college, university. And I'm not to downgrade the professors and the teachers and all of the people who have influenced me in a wonderful and positive way. But I mean it more in the sense that I think that if a person really wants to understand something in our world, if they're really curious about it, if they're really passionate about it, that they're going to really do it on their own. And I don't know, I have friends, some of whom are considering going to grad school, whether it's law school or a graduate program. I've considered a graduate program. I've considered a few different ones. And the more and more I think about it, I really don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it because, well, something about myself that I'm aware of is that I tend towards self-direction. I tend towards autonomy and independence. That isn't to say I don't need people, or I don't want to need people, or I don't want people, or any of that. It just means that I like projects. And I like things that direct me towards my projects, whatever my projects are. It could be like something really random, it could be something serious, it could be something short, it could be something long, something in between, but I like projects. And I guess someone could argue that grad school can offer that to me, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical because I'm fickle. I'm skeptical because I'm fickle, and I'm fickle because in reality, everything that I love today is something that I've always thought I would love, whatever hobby or passion it is. Everything that I love today in this moment of talking right now to you is something that I've loved before in my life. What, like, for example, public speaking and politics, that's something that I'm very interested in. And that's something that I have known I've myself to be interested in since I was a little kid. I remember in fourth grade, I was like, me and my best friend were like, oh, we're gonna be lawyers. We're gonna go and like be in politics together. But I think it's the sort of thing where when you're in a really structured environment, like a university or a large corporation, I'm not saying that they're the same thing. It's just, a traditional job or going to grad school, and they both offer a level in which you're doing things, but you're doing things on someone else's timeline. You're not doing things on your own timeline. And when you're doing things on your own timeline, you can focus on my own individual needs, my own individual strengths and weaknesses. If I'm strong in an area, I could devote less time on that and more time onto something that I'm weak on, and, things like that. There's a lot of customizability. And I think with myself that because I am such a passionate person, that I don't need the external motivation of someone saying, "Yo, you gotta do this now." You gotta. I don't really need that because that's something that I inherently do because I inherently care without it. So, so this video ended up being a why I don't want to go to grad school and why I want my own business video. Which I did not intend it for it to be, but that's what it ended up being, because every time I record an episode of Tea Time for Jen, where I never drink tea, they are all stream of conscious, and by being stream of conscious, I'm just talking, whatever comes to mind, and I just let it flow. And I end them when a sort of coherent message or statement or point of view is made, and not until then. And one has been made, and I'm good. So I wish you a good day. If you would like to tell me about your own plans, your own thoughts about, pursuing, I guess, more education, pursuing a traditional 9 to 5 job versus something a bit, kind of high risk, a bit untraditional. I guess in our 21st century, having your own business is a bit more common these days. But I would say that with myself, that doesn't make it any more comforting. I think the comfort comes from the fact that I've quit so many jobs because I hated them that I'm at a point where I'm just, yo, girl, you just gotta do it. You're, I think for myself, I'm the kind of person where I need to try so many different opportunities. I need to try all these different opportunities until I'm like, okay, I know for sure. I know for sure. So I'm gonna keep recording these videos. They're a bit inconsistent when I record and when I post them. I typically post them the same day or the day after I record them. I think the issue is more just becoming comfortable with it. I know with myself that even if I'm just talking and it's not in front of, a podium and a million people, there's still a level in which it makes me uncomfortable. And it makes me uncomfortable because at the end of the day, I'm putting myself in a position of vulnerability, and there's a level in which, I'm putting myself in a position of vulnerability, and but I appreciate Thanks for watching.